Welcome back to the Lights Out podcast, bedtime stories for boys and girls around the world. Good evening, boys and girls. Are you ready for bed? Are you all snuggled up and ready for another Lights Out bedtime story? Well, you're in for a treat tonight, as we have part 8 of Fing by David Williams, and this is episode 491. So we have 9 left before we hit 500 stories on this podcast. What should I read for the 500th episode? But back to the story, because it's all about the story. Chapter 8, An Encyclopedia of Monsters. Mr. and Mrs. Meek set the book down on a rickety old table. Thud. The Monsterpedia was a huge leather-bound tome that must have been printed at least a few hundred years ago. It was, as the title suggested, an encyclopedia of monsters. Mrs. Meek blew dust off the cover and opened it. Might this book hold a clue to the existence of a Fing? It was the Meek's final hope. The book was, as far as anyone knew, the only one of its kind in existence. Inside it was an alphabetical list of terrifying creatures that were either long extinct or assumed to be mythical, with lavish hand-painted illustrations of these creatures on the opposite page. Neither Mr. nor Mrs. Meek had seen or heard of any of them before. First, there was an agadong-dong-dong, a man-eating underground bird. On the next page was a boo-boo, a giant slug that leaves a poisonous trail of slime in its wake. Then there was the crunkled toad, a reptile so ugly it can kill a man with a look. D was for dum-dum, a cross between a jellyfish and a warthog, and judging by the illustration, even more hideous than it sounds. Oh wow. Ibinkibonk, an amphibious monkey found only in the deepest depths of the oceans. The next page was F. The Meeks took a collective breath, praying that they would find what they were looking for. Fing! Exclaimed Mother. Yes, we did it. I could kiss you, said Father. Please don't. Not at work, darling. And the library has a strict no canoodling rule. Of course. How silly of me. Would you care to read out what it says? Mrs. Meek cleared her throat and began. Fing, mammal. This, the most rarest of rare beasts, is found only in the deepest, darkest, jungliest jungle. The appearance of the thing is that of a fur-covered sphere. The size of a beast varies wildly. One moment they can be as small as a marble, and the next as large as a hot air balloon. Fings have only one large eye in the center, and a hole on either side. One hole is its mouth, and the other is its, well, for want of more polite expression, bottom. But nobody can be sure which hole is which, not even the Fing itself, which has been known to try to feed using its bottom. Having no arms or legs, Fings move around by rolling or sometimes even bouncing. Strangely enough, a Fing's favourite food is biscuits, of the custard cream variety. The Fing beast can devour 100 in seconds, but they will eat almost anything and everything. Fings leave behind a trail of foul-smelling droppings, which can be as big, if not bigger, than the creature itself. Warning, Never ever keep a Fing in your house. They are the world's worst pets. Fings are greedy, bad-tempered, and sometimes just plain rude. Because they can grow to epic proportions, they may not just eat you out of house and home, but they may very well eat your home. Worst of all, they might even eat you. Doom awaits you. After she had finished reading, they both pored over the picture. The Fing was a peculiar-looking thing. The illustration, just as the words had described, showed a ball of brown fur with one eye between two dark holes. "Oh dear," said Father. "Oh dear indeed," agreed Mother. With that, she closed the book. "Well, that's the end of that then. There is no way our darling daughter can have a Fing." "Poor thing, she's going to be so bitterly disappointed," said Father. "I know. Well, I think it's best you break the news to her." "Me?" "Yes, Mr. Meek. It's your turn." No, protested Mr. Meek. "It's definitely your turn." "Let's do it together," reasoned Mrs. Meek. "A splendid idea. Thank you. You can go first." The end of Chapter 8 of Fing by David Williams, here on the Lights Out podcast. Bedtime stories for boys and girls and things around the world. Good night.